The Bible and Quran canons urge those who believe in Almighty Allah, God, to only fear Him. However, since religious dogma has misrepresented Almighty Allah as a mysterious spirit, most people have no real fear of something that they cannot see, feel, or hear, which aligns with human nature. Nevertheless, the scriptures inform us that Almighty Allah brought His divine judgment through His divine messengers, whom the people presumed to have no real power. Innocent people were caught up in the destruction because they did not consider His divine messengers to be equal to the leaders they thought had real power through their ability to enact legislation and declare war. The Bible and Quran contain narratives that describe Almighty Allah's destructive wrath against nations and peoples. For example, the wicked people of Sodom, Ad, Thamud, and Pharaoh were completely destroyed. In the Holy Quran Canon, chapter 29, verse 40, it states, "So each one we punished for his sin. Of them was he on whom we sent a violent storm, and of them was he whom the rumbling overtook, and of them was he whom we caused the earth to swallow, and of them was he whom we drowned. And it was not Allah who wronged them, but they wronged themselves." Unfortunately, most people pay attention to the things or persons they fear. Surveys are showing that President Donald Trump is on the minds of most people throughout the earth. The fear that most people have of President Donald Trump is that he is obnoxiously high-handed, considers himself beyond reproach, and that his blunt arrogance and dog-and-pony shows threaten to ignite World War III. These concerns are duly noted. However, the biggest concern should be what Almighty Allah is presently doing in unraveling and eliminating the world of Satan, of which President Donald Trump is a major stooge for the synagogue of Satan, in the effort of these wicked families to uphold this divinely condemned world. The realities on the ground have proven President Donald Trump's facade of power to be futile in curtailing the execution of Almighty Allah's wrath that was announced by the Honorable Karriem Allah in April 2024 and is now being executed through him. No doubt, since President Trump's January 2025 inauguration as US President, 9 months later, civil wars within nations and war between nations have increased, and military budgets of nations have skyrocketed to the detriment of the Earth's citizenries. No doubt, since President Trump has entered the office of the US Presidency, brutality and heinous violence throughout the Earth has become more acceptable and the preferred way to resolve even the most childish disputes. This is why we should pay attention to the Honorable Karriem Allah. In April 2024, the Honorable Karriem Allah publicly announced the wrath of Almighty Allah upon the United States and the nations of the earth.
Well, you will face the wrath of Almighty Allah as I stand here. I have asked Him to bring down His wrath on this nation for your wickedness, and you will pay that price, because He will hear my voice. And when I come before you after this, it'll be more of the same. God will stricken you with His wrath until you exist no more.
Since that announcement, the world has been overwhelmed by unprecedented natural disasters. Within the United States alone, 2024 and much of 2025 saw a significant number of federally declared disasters. Most people are unaware that during 2025, President Trump rejected at least 14 requests for major disaster declarations related to extreme weather events, and left many pending. Why was this not publicized? To gain a more surreal understanding of this time of Almighty Allah's wrath, consider these few major weather events since the first announcement of April 2024. When we consider these realities and understand that they will only increase in frequency and severity, it is clear why we should pay attention to the Honorable Karriem Allah. The whole world is being destroyed before your eyes, and major earthquakes are coming to these cities.